Hello everyone, welcome back to Fact YouTube channel and welcome back to my second video on the topic of Lisa. We're going to talk about Mr. Rando, or Dustin, depends which name you know him by, and how he is martial arts perfected, how people can get his character wrong, how his character should be seen, and a scene that exemplifies all of his good character traits. Let's continue. So, who is Mr. Rando? So, Rando, or Lord Rando, depends on how much you know the guy, is the final boss fight of Lisa the Painful, and a secondary protagonist and sole party member, as in like the only other person in the protagonist buddy that you can get in your party. You get in your party. So Rando is a powerful martial artist who used his power to make a very large army to establish order across the wasteland of Olath after the White Flash wiped out all women and caused the apocalypse. Despite numerous military victories, including one against Buzzo and his Joy Boys, he was defeated by the mutating Brad Armstrong, his father, and he was left in a bruised and battered state. However, his life does not improve from there, as he becomes the sole protector and guardian of Buddy. However, Buddy starts going crazy and killing people with limited to no reasoning, and he cannot stand up for it, so he leaves. And his life gets even worse because he is attacked and defeated by Bolo Bugacci, another martial artist who takes advantage of his moment of weakness to beat him, and then ties him up by barbed wire and hangs him with the barbed wire to use him as bait so he can do terrible things to Buddy while she tries to save him. No matter what you do as Buddy, he ends up falling down a cliff and either just dies there or has his neck slit open by Buddy. So pretty sad life. You know, a lot of early successes, pretty impressive costume, but overall, not a very good end for our friend here. But who's behind the mask? This is Dustin, as a kid, with his monster traps. Look at those damn things. So who is Dustin? Dustin is Rando's real name. He was an orphan before the Flash. He was adopted by Brad Armstrong. And this guy really loves his dad. This is his core, most desired thing, to be loved by his dad. But despite the fact he was his strongest student, he could not defeat Buford. Now, I think that's what Buzzo's real name is. But if it's not his real name, well, he's dead, so he can't exactly get mad at me for that. And Buzzo, or Buford, was the former girlfriend of Lisa, who is the sister of Brad Armstrong. He attacked the dojo because he believed that Brad Armstrong could have protected his sister from the abuse of their shared father, Marty. And in revenge, he brutally mauled Dustin, leaving him with a face torn straight off. Brad then abandoned abandoned Dustin because, well, we don't really know for sure, but my theory is that because his face was maimed in revenge for Lisa, every time he saw him, he saw Lisa and he couldn't bear to, so he abandoned him. Which is a pretty sad life for the poor guy. So what are Rando's character traits? Here's Rando getting ready for a fight, and here's Rando with his face freshly sawn off, though his beautiful eyes are just fine. So, when you analyze a character, you have to make sure you analyze the story they're in, because a character in one story could be exactly the same as one another, but they can mean completely different things depending on where they are. And Lisa, in part, is about martial arts. And Rando is perfect in martial arts. He is strong enough to basically beat anyone in a fight, yet he doesn't use his power just to bully people around and make them do what he wants. In fact, he uses it to lead them, which some people might say the same thing, but it's not, because instead of using his power just to get what he wants, he uses his power to direct and make people build a better future. And he's merciful. He will spare people for things that other warlords would kill over. And he can spare people who do terrible things to him or others as long as they seek mercy. However, he's not naive. When something is wrong, he puts his foot down, even when it hurts him a lot, both physically and mentally, to put his foot down. So he isn't just accepting of everything. He's merciful, but he's not going to let someone do bad things under his watch. He's a very emotional fellow. He's very compassionate, and his emotions are very visible throughout the story. But when it gets down to what's right, he puts his fists up and defends what is right or wrong. He will not let his emotions cloud his judgment to the point that he would let someone do bad things. So what does this all mean? He's a perfected martial artist. He's in perfect control of his body, mind, and spirit. Everything Brad Armstrong isn't. He is the pinnacle of martial arts in the Armstrong style. But also, Rando is this guy, Mr. Dustin. Dustin is a boy whose deepest, most profound desire is to have his dad love him. He humiliates himself in front of his army. He risks his life and will basically do anything to get Brad's recognition. And now, some people make the mistake of assuming that Dustin is the real one and Rando just a face. But this is wrong. Rando is a mask for Dustin, but they are both the same person. And you can't just say that everything he does under Rando is just like what do you call it? Just a face he puts on. It's still him, and this is important because it's why some people get him wrong. This is the average member of the Lisa fandom right in the corner, and this is me thinking. So why do people get Rando wrong? People get Rando wrong because they focus too hard on Dustin rather than the full person. People just see him as the kind-hearted, sweet boy who would do nothing wrong, seeing him as also a pacifist. And people get this from his motorcycle scene, though a lot of it is from the fandom. The problem is that it takes away from the beauty of his character and what he represents. Yes, Rando did cry when he saw his dad after getting hit by a motorcycle, and he did give his food to him for no reason. But that doesn't take away from the rest of his character. It just shows why the next scene is so beautiful and how much he really embodies his martial arts nature. He isn't a pacifist, and though he's a good person, but the moment when he's brought to violence at the end of the game is the most profound example of who he is and what he represents. And we're going to discuss the scene in One Good Scene. So the end of the game is the best example of this, because Rando's father, Brad, is trying to take the last girl on Earth, Buddy, from Rando and his army. Brad wants to keep her away in a semi-selfish desire to get redemption for his perceived failure to protect Lisa by using Buddy as a surrogate for Lisa and protecting her. Rando wants nothing more than to have Dad love him and respect him, and he could do this by just giving over Buddy at any time, and he would get this recognition. But he's not going to let the world die for that. So he puts his army up against Brad, assuming that, 25 guys with swords is not going to be able for Brad to stop. But Brad is mutating with joy, and he crushes his army. And Brad marches up to Rando. So Rando is looking at this. His dad. He knows he cannot win this fight because the guy just killed 25 people and is still trucking along. And if he gives up Buddy, not only will he be able to live, but he'll be able to live with the thing he wants most, his father's approval and possibly love. But what does Rando do? In the face of certain death, and in denial of his deepest desires, he fights. And he doesn't just fight like a little pussy. He fights really hard. His bones all get broken, armor is broken, face is broken, he gets real messed up. And he keeps fighting. He fights with all he has. But why does he do this? Because Rando might want nothing more than have Dad love him. He knows that he can never accept that love if it comes with betraying who he is and betraying what he knows is what's right. And this is the ultimate difference between him and his dad. Brad wants to burn the world to fulfill his deepest desire, redemption for Lisa. And Rando is burning himself, both figuratively, as in he's denying himself his deepest desire and hurting himself, and literally because he gets set on fire by Brad to save the world. He is not given to his desire for his father's love, but rather he denies it and denies himself because his father taught him better than to accept desire over what is truly right. And now let me just use this beautiful image. It shows exactly what it is. Look at it. Brad is literally crying blood. He's not literally crying blood. It has the visual of it. He's hunched over, blades sticking out of him. He looks disheveled, weak. And then here you have Rando. Face is breaking. He's about to lose, but he's still fighting, and he's standing proud because while Brad is ashamed of himself, Rando knows he's fighting for what's right. And look at him. He's in the dark. He's in the light. Perfect scene. Beautiful to whoever made this. I don't know if it was Austin or some fan mod, but I absolutely love this, and it really represents the whole stick of what Rando and Brad's fight is. That's the end. So that's more Lisa content for all you guys. I really hope this video is good because I'm kind of tired of the whole Rando fandom thing where he's just kind of just a chump and almost childish and infantilized. He's very deep. I think he's Austin's best work. You can see a lot of Austin inside of Rando, which is really cool. And I just really hope that we get more respect for the fellow. So I noticed a lot of comments last video, but we had very few discussions. I want to see people disagree with me, agree with me, explain, tell you what you liked, what you didn't like. Type a lot in the comments. I read every single one, and I will respond to you if your message is something other than hello, love video. Always discuss the Fat YouTube channel, very intellectual. Have a wonderful day.